Where are we going today?
We are going to 오투. 지금 생각이 안 났어. 안 처음 가봐가지고.
My wife Yujin and I have been skiing in Korea for over 10 years now, and have been to most of the ski resorts here, at least the biggest and most popular. And living in a country with quite frankly not amazing ski hills, with narrow slopes that are usually crowded, man-made snow, and very limited terrain, it's always been one of our goals to help people who don't know where to go find a place that's suitable for them. As although the resorts here might not be the best for everyone, there are a lot of people out there that would have a really great time going to them, especially those learning how to ski or board or with families. At Otu Ski Resort in Gangwon-do, just 20 minutes away from the incredibly popular High1 Ski Resort, we found something we've never seen at a ski hill in Korea before, and didn't expect at all. So let's go over what the facilities are like and what it's like to ride there for all skill levels. And we'll end the video with a comparison of High1 Resort to hopefully help people out there make a decision on which one will be better to make a trip to. Otu Resort is about 250 kilometers or just over 3 hours away from Seoul by car. But if you don't have a car, unfortunately it seems like the shuttle buses don't operate these days, as the websites are all gone. But you can take the train from Cheongnam Station in Seoul to Taebaek Station in just over 3 hours for about 15,000 won, and then take a 10-minute taxi from Taebaek to Otu Resort for about 10,000 won. We saw a lot of taxis in Taebaek, so finding them won't be a problem. Or you can use the Kakao T app or K-Ride app if you want to book one on your phone.
와, 되게 신기하다.
근데 주차장에 아무도 없어. Now we're getting to the part where O2 has something we've never seen in Korea before. The parking lot was absolutely empty, with a total of 5 or 6 cars or so. And when you look at the parking lot size, they obviously have the capacity for quite a few people to visit. 그거 상급이야. 그 사람이 없어. 자차진 것 같아.
잘 돼 있는 것 같은데?
There were almost no people anywhere, which is absolutely unheard of at a Korean ski resort. I don't know if it's always like this, but even on weekdays, other ski resorts don't get nearly this empty, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's reasonable on weekends as well. Because of that, a lot of the facilities in the lodge seem to have disappeared, such as the entire second floor of the lodge that used to have a bar and a Popeye's chicken. Luckily, there's a full-on cafeteria on the first floor, albeit with somewhat limited options.
오,
괜찮은 거니?
맛있어 보인다. 엄청 뜨겁나 보네. 맛있게 먹자.
Yeah, the food was pretty good despite not having a big selection, eh?
맛있었어.
One of the better donkases I've had, for sure. Probably because we didn't have a lot of expectations to, but...
약간 두툼하고 고기가 안에 이렇게 너무 얇지 않고 그래서 맛있었던 것 같아. 소스도 완전 많이 달지 않고 괜찮았어.
We have the X5 Seasons Pass to 5 different mountains, so we didn't have to get lift tickets. But there's 70,000 won for the day, or 53,000 won for half a day. And ski and board rentals are 29,000 won for the day, and 23,000 won for half a day. I couldn't find discounts from third-party rental stores, as a lot of them nearby seem to have closed down. And for lodging, there's a ski-in, ski-out resort, but staying in Taebaek is quite a bit cheaper overall. If you just look at the trail map, you can see a total of 12 slopes. Yellow for beginners, green for intermediate, and blue for advanced. The red slopes you can see are for experts, all of which have been closed down for a while apparently. So that means only 7 slopes are open. And advanced and expert riders have 3 to choose from, with 2 of them on the Apple lift, both at about an average incline of 30 degrees, so nothing super steep or special, but I'd say they can be compared to Yongpyeong's Red Slope, one of the more famous runs in Korea labeled for experts and a bit steeper. But Glory 1 and 2 at O2 have longer steep sections and a lot less people. So what about intermediate riders like Yujin? This is where the title of most underrated resort in Korea comes from. When you go up the Sweet Shuttle Gondola to Uttummaru, 1,420 meters up the 1,570 meter Hanbaeksan, you have access to 2 different slopes, Head and Glory 3. Head is one of the longest true intermediate slopes in Korea, as it leads right into Happy, making it a total of 3.3 kilometers of true intermediate terrain. You get amazing views of the mountains below, and although it's not as long as Yongpyeong's Rainbow Paradise, it's a lot more fun to ride. I have no problem calling this the second best intermediate slope in Korea, next to Muju's Silk Road.
야, 여기 좋네.
Perfect for learning. There's not many people. The snow is pretty decent quality, like way better than it was in Yongpyeong for sure.
어른들도 거의 없었고 그 눈의 양도 딱 좋았던 것 같아요. 파우더 스키 좋아하는 분들은 아쉬울 수 있지만 그냥 일반적으로 한국에서 스키 타시는 분들은 이거 되게 좋은 것 같아요.
맞아. Now let's go over to Glory 3. Technically an advanced slope that only allows skiers for some reason, but the average steepness is just 1 degree steeper than Head and Happy at 19 degrees this time. So it's safe to also call this an intermediate slope, and lucky enough for us, we literally had it all to ourselves.
지금까지 사람 한 명도 없었지. 앞에도 없고 뒤에도 한 명도 없었어.
오.
예전에 우리 아무도 없고 코로나 때 하이원에서 우리 둘만 탄 적 있지. 근데 여기는 지금 잘 보이고 눈이 안 내리는 용평 같은 느낌이야.
진짜 좋아.
진짜 좋다.
잘 타고 있어, 배?
응, 고마워.
This is an experience I can almost guarantee you won't find anywhere else in Korea, which you'll see later on when we show our trip to High1 during Seollal, or Lunar New Year. Glory 3 finishes at the beginner section, which there are 2 slopes and 2 lifts, with Dream 2 being the top, which we didn't get to ride, but it looks quite mellow at an average incline of 12 degrees, and then Dream 1 is the bottom, with separate sides for skiers and boarders. This would be the absolute perfect spot to learn how to ski or snowboard with the very mellow incline and lack of people. However, there are no English lessons as far as I'm aware of. Yeah, let's talk about what we think. For beginners to learn here, I think is really good. And the slope is really flat. It's like very predictable. There's also not that many people learning on it. So if you're a complete beginner, then I think coming here would be a good place to learn for sure. There's not much variety of slopes, so that's the unfortunate thing. Is once you're finished on the practice slope, you kind of have to step up to like an intermediate advanced slope right after that. But other than that, it's not too bad.
그러니까 스키를 처음 배울 때부터 초급이랑 중급, 초중급 되기까지가 사람마다 걸리는 시간이 되게 다르잖아. 그래서 여기 초급 슬로프 보면은 정말 완전 처음 시작하는 분도 할 수 있고 초급 분들도 저기서 되게 많이 탈 수 있을 것 같거든. 그리고 만약에 다른 거 여기 썰매 타는 것도 있더라고. 튜빙도 있으니까 여기도 하고 튜빙도 타고 그런 거는 좋을 것 같은데 이 주변에 이런 먹을 거나 이런 놀만한 거가 그렇게 많진 않아. 근데 이제 중국 분들은 여기 상급 코스 있어. 여기도 나쁘지 않아. 왜냐면 사람이 없기 때문에 천천히 탈 수 있어서 표지판에 있는 레벨만 보고 하기보다는 사람이 없으면 상급자에서 중급도 가능하다. 초중급 분들도 가능하다.
For your skill level, this is probably one of the best ski resorts in Korea, right? Like kind of intermediate, but not, you don't really enjoy the like super steep icy slopes, right?
딱 나는 중급 정도잖아. 그런데 여기 상급자 코스나 중상급 코스는 사람도 별로 없으니까 이 부담도 적고 이 슬로프도 넓고 해가지고 이 마음 편히 타면서도 스킬 있잖아. 그런 거 연습하기에도 좋고 딱 그 경사도가 꽤 좀 있으니까 그런 거 연습하기에도 굉장히 좋더라고. 그래서 중국자분들한테 여기 진짜 좋은 것 같아.
For sure. For advanced skiers and riders, like there's not a ton of variety to be honest. There's just like the Glory 3, which is the one you were talking about, it's kind of like an intermediate slope that's called an advanced slope. And then there's the 2 advanced slopes over on the like Apple lift, which are both quite short and they're not like anything particularly special. So I think for like advanced, High1 is technically still a bit better than this. But if you want to like mix it up and do the intermediate courses as well, then I think you can still have a really good time here.
그 뭔가 여기 타면서 느낀 게 진짜 스키만 타보고 싶고 막 연습하고 싶은 그런 거 있잖아. 그럴 때는 진짜 여기 와서 슬로프가 다양하진 않은데 있는 슬로프들이 되게 실속이 있어. 그래서 그 하나를 딱 정해놓고 계속 타면서 반복적으로 하기에는 진짜 좋을 것 같다 생각이 들긴 했거든. 좀 실력을 늘리고 싶다, 연습을 엄청 하고 싶다 이럴 때 좋을 것 같다 생각하긴 했었어.
And don't let the small number of slopes throw you off. In Korea, it doesn't matter that much how many slopes there are most of the time, because they're all like pretty similar. So even if you have like, let's say Muju, where you have tons of different intermediate slopes to explore and stuff, it is better for exploration wise. But if you're just like trying to improve your technique and go for some runs, then there's nothing wrong with O2 at all. So.
그리고 여기에 가장 큰 이점이 있어. 이거는 한국에서도 그런데 사람이 별로 없는 곳을 찾기가 사실 어렵잖아. 그게 가장 큰 이점인 것 같아. 여기가 지금 뭔가 특별한 이유로 이렇게 사람이 없는 거라면 모르겠지만 항상 이게 보통 이 정도 평균 수준이 이렇다 그러면 여기는 진짜 사람이 없는 곳에서 진짜 마음껏 타고 싶다 이런 분들한테는 여기가 정말 최고야.
That was it for our day at O2 Resort. And for us living in a van, although technically possible for us to stay in places like the nearby city of Taebaek, which reaches -10 degrees Celsius most nights in January, it's a lot more comfortable to stay near the ocean where it's a bit warmer. So we headed east an hour away to Samcheok, a smaller city of about 70,000 on the east coast, to wait a few days and meet up with our friends at High1. It's still quite amazing just how spoiled we are with all the amazing free parking lots in Korea next to bathrooms, and even convenience stores a lot of the time. 편의점 party in the hail. We got this. It was now Seollal, or Lunar New Year holiday in Korea, the biggest holiday in the country on the same scale as Christmas for us in Canada. And it started snowing a lot, which we were very thankful at how fast they are at clearing the roads in Korea, making it safe for us with even our all-season tires. We arrived at High1, and were absolutely blown away by just how many people there were. It was an extra long holiday in Korea this year, so it seems like a lot of families decided to go for a ski trip. Our friends Ungi and Pina were now well equipped with rentals and lift tickets, and it was time for them to have their first day on the slopes in years.
무서워. 벌써 무서워.
1차 관문은 끝났어.
이거 제일 어려운 거야.
할수 있어.
High1 has one of the best runs for beginners to learn on called Zeus 3, which is about 2 kilometers of 8-degree terrain. And that's why we picked High1 to ride together, but we definitely didn't predict right that it'd be one of the busiest days of the year. However, despite the absolute circus of people all over the slopes, Ungi and Pina were ripping it up. This is definitely on the more extreme side for the amount of people at High1. But to be honest, it's not that rare for it to be busy like this on the beginner slopes, on pretty much any mountain in Korea except for O2. As an expert skier, the beginner runs here are some of the scariest places I've ever skied, with people crashing into each other all over the place, so you feel like you aren't in much control. Yujin actually got smoked pretty good by a guy earlier, but luckily she was okay. We decided to ride the hero lift to the very top to see if there was less people, and Ungi was feeling confident, and decided to step up his game to Hero 1, an intermediate slope with an average incline of 15 degrees. There was a lot of fresh snow making it a bit bumpier than usual, but luckily there were less people on the intermediate runs. But the lodge resembled the beginner run from earlier. 맛있게 먹읍시다.
하이원 관계자 여러분, 식특 좀 늘려주세요. 비싸.
이게 뭡니까?
We spent some more time cruising the advanced runs like Apollo 1, and overall when comparing High1 to O2, it has a lot more slopes and steeper advanced terrain, but it comes at the cost of having a lot more people on the regular. If you're advanced or expert, I think High1 is the place to go. But if you're a beginner or intermediate rider, choose High1 if you care less about riding and more about the restaurants and things to do. And if you want to spend most of your trip riding without having to worry about crowds too much, then O2 is the better place to go. We had an amazing time catching up with Ungi and Pina, eating some amazing barbecue. And then it was back to Seoul to spend time with Yujin's family for Seollal. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you had an amazing Lunar New Year, and we hope to see you soon in another video.